welcome to the Future Talks with Mplus Group. Today we have Esko Aho joining us, who, let me give a brief introduction, served as Prime Minister of Finland, Executive Board Member of Nokia in one of the most definitive moments for the company in its history, and then after that serving in a number of leadership and strategic roles, as well as academia, including Harvard, where we had the pleasure of meeting. So, Esko, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
The first question is, I think right now we feel like we are in a moment of great change. This last year everybody talked about Ukraine and Russia. This year we're talking about AI. But AI does feel like a really fundamental technological change. So how did you deal with such moments of fundamental change coming from technology and from societal change back when you were Prime Minister in Finland, and then in Nokia when it was transforming what it was as a company?
I was born in 1950s in a small farm in Finland, and when we speak about transformation, I haven't seen any transformation like that, what happened there when we moved from horse-driven agricultural production into machinery-driven production. That was a real transformation, having a huge impact in our society. So transformation is permanent. So it happens. It's faster or less fast, but it happens all the time. But time to time we have crises, and in crisis moments, transformation happens faster. There is a very simple reason. You have urgent need to do something, and there is less aggressive forces against change. So it's like a moment of change to be fully utilized. And I think both Finland and Nokia made that in 1990s. People didn't understand that when things happened, but anyway, those crises opened the door for great success story, both in Finland and in Nokia.
So Nokia's reinvention is widely admired as in fact a case study in many business schools that is studied, where it really was able to question what is its fundamental purpose and what it does as a company. How does an organization really go about making itself make that push and challenge itself that much that it really goes beyond what it does as a mission?
For the first, you need pressure. To be honest, companies are not changing without external pressure, and the governments do not change their policies without pressure. So you need that. In the case of Nokia, transformation has happened several times during the history of the company. It was founded in 1865, and it has been transforming in a massive way several times. But Nokia's, I think Nokia's case is fundamental example of dependency between external circumstances and your concept. When external circumstances are changing, you have two options. You are trying to keep things as they are and you will lose, or you are taking those changes seriously and you start changing your concept, so that the concept and context have to be in balance. And Nokia made in the 1990s fantastic choice in the middle of the crisis. So they came to the conclusion that the best assets they have, they are in the field of mobile phone production and telecom network business. And they decided to divest everything else. And that was fantastic decision, especially when they made that with the expectation that mobile phone market will grow from 10 million to 50 million in 10 years. And in fact, the real figure was 700 million. So if you have a good winning concept from 50 to 700, yeah, that's right. And it did it again 2011, 12, 13, when Nokia had to leave mobile phone business and to move mainly back to mobile or telecom network business.
To extrapolate to the current situation, which I think is on everyone's mind, which is AI and the future of labor. Because ultimately, I think what the most uncomfortable truth that everybody is questioning right now with AI or whatever iteration of some form of intelligence we are facing of machines today. How do you see the interaction of the future of labor and AI? Will AI augment labor? Will it replace? Will it, in fact, just help the gap which we are experiencing now for a couple of years of a lack of labor force in a number of at least Western European and North American market, but also more and more in the east of the world? Or is it really something that will ask a redefinition of societal concepts of what is work? And
I think we have fundamental reason to be optimistic about AI, because otherwise we cannot survive. These demographic challenges are huge, and we don't fully understand what does it mean in practice. This lack of labor force, skilled labor force, is permanent. It's going to be there, and we cannot survive without being more productive, especially in the public sector, in healthcare, in social care, in every sector. And AI is going to provide us good tools. I've seen so many discussions where people have said that technology is killing jobs. It is killing, but it's creating jobs as well. And actually, I believe that the same is going to happen with AI as well. In certain sectors, jobs will be killed, but in some other sectors, we are going to see a lot of increase in use of labor force. My favorite phrase is that human touch is the future luxury. And for example, in the healthcare sector, you need to move resources from technical work into human touch. And artificial intelligence will help a lot.
So how are really companies, at least the largest ones to take as an example, and you have a plethora of experience in banking, for example, ready to really apply technology? Because really that trickle-down effect from innovation for it to be implemented across an organization, especially old legacy organizations, seems to historically be very slow.
I think it's very important to make a distinction between three I's: inventions, innovations, and implementation. And quite often business leaders are confusing all these three. And there are certain areas where inventions are completely impossible to be done in small companies or small countries, like AI or semiconductors. Huge investments are needed, it's out of the reach. But then innovations are possible, but they are also risk game. But implementation is rather low risk in business. If you are efficient to get rid of technologies, you understand how to do that. And I think that is the biggest opportunity for European companies now, to be leading in implementing new technologies. And we have a lot of opportunities available. We are just in the beginning of taking benefit of modern technologies for example, in manufacturing and especially in servicing.
When we talk about Europe's comparative advantage and also the relationship to AI, what skills do you believe will be critical and human talent should focus on providing? And then where does Europe fit into that conversation, and what should Europe strategically focus in terms of the products and more importantly, I think, services that we produce or export?
It's a good question, and I think we have not put enough emphasis on that in Europe. We are only speaking about that we are lagging behind America and lagging behind China, and what can we do so that we will be as good in AI or semiconductors or others. We cannot cover that gap anymore. We have lost that game. We have to move to the next game. And I think Europe's assets are in areas where small is beautiful. We have small countries, smaller companies, but they can be very efficient in taking benefit from technologies. And we have good examples of that already. And I'm optimistic that when we have enough urgent need to do something, Europeans are quite good to do that. We have seen that in energy sector, for example. In my own country, in Finland, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when it was obvious that electricity import from Russia will be cut, everyone said, this is mission impossible, we are not able to survive. Yesterday, price of electricity in Finland was on the minus side. And we have today, this year, we are self-sufficient. And it happened very fast, thanks to nuclear investments made, but also thanks to wind power. So I think the most important thing is to analyze what is waiting for us, and then to try to move to that direction. But we have tradition in Europe that we are thinking, we are so good, let's keep what we have, and let's spend our money to preserve this stability. And that's wrong strategy.
Esko, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Luka.